Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Deltana DSF3225 and a US10B. This is a floor-mounted heavy-duty solid brass doorstop is what it is. And this is shown in the US10B finish, oil rubbed bronze. I'm holding it up to something that's clearly black. There's always an issue with oil rub bronze being extremely subject to the manufacturing process. They will all always look different. That is inherent in the nature of oil rub bronze. This is not black. When you see this up close, and I think if you take an objective view of this, you can see how it's pretty dark, but it's not exactly black. Black would be definitely a much deeper, darker, dead pitch of color compared to this. The camera doesn't really show the marginally more rich tone to this, even though that's not in abundance on this version of oil rub bronze. So be mindful when you're ordering oil rub bronze. You've got different manufacturers, Deltana, and then countless others that you can name. They're all going to look a little bit different. But right now, for this group, this stop, this year, this batch it was made in, the environment in which it was made, because the environment, humidity, temperature, things of that nature have a impact on what the final oil rubbed process will look like. That's what it looks like today. Here you go. The bottom line is this is a heavy-duty doorstop. This weighs about 1.1 pound, so it's quite heavy, in fact. Which, of course, has everything to do with the classification of it being a heavy-duty stop. It's solid brass. Also, of course, the cost. You've got over a pound of brass in your hand, an architectural base material. Let's go over some basic dimensional properties, then we'll talk about where you would use this. So they say that this is 3-inch. I'm going to hold it upside down just to have a better way to give you an idea of the overall height. The overall height is what they're kind of referring to. It's going to be right at about 3-inch. The diameter of the base looks like it's about 2.5 inch. The dimension I think that's a bit more important is where this will come into play in terms of making contact with the face of the door. So the underside of the stop to the center line of the bumper looks like it's about 2 3/8 of an inch. Okay, 2 3/8. So from the floor to the center of this is about 2 3/8. That means that if you have a typical undercut or clearance of 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, something in that range, even 1 inch, I think you're still in a really great position for this to work well, because it's 3-inch overall height, about 2 3/8 to the center line. So you're going to be making solid contact with the face of the door, is the bottom line. The diameter of the face of the bumper looks like it's about 7/8 of an inch. As far as I know, this is not replaceable in the sense that I don't believe they sell these rubber inserts separately. You can pull that out, and it's probably held on with just a dab of adhesive. And unless you were going to pull that out, it would not otherwise come out. You'll see some manufacturers that have a riveted pin that goes through there. Those are certainly not replaceable. I will find out if this bumper is replaceable, and I will have that noted below this video when I get an answer from the factory, is what we'll do. Just making a note to myself. Very good. Okay, now, where would you use this? Let's talk about that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Applications for a heavy-duty door stop are countless. High-volume applications. You are not going to use this in a home. Although it's not unheard of, you would use this in a residential application. Where I see that is when someone has a pair of doors or a door that goes out to a patio, a deck, things of that nature. There's going to be the clearance from the bottom of the door to the top of the threshold when the door closes. Okay, so it's basically a small dimension. 0, because it's weather stripped. But when that door opens up out and then over whatever it's swinging over, you might need something higher just to make contact with the door. That principle is used in that application. This may not be tall enough or may not be the appropriate item, but nonetheless, the fact that this is taller than an average commercial stop is where you'd use it. But you're going to use something like this when you have a tremendous amount of volume over the door. Lots of cycles of doors hitting floor stops is where you're going to use a heavy-duty unit like this. Airports, movie theaters, schools, things of that nature is where you'll find this. It would be appropriate for an exterior application because it's made of brass. It won't rust. It will patina. The finish will degrade with time, but the base material won't give way on you. This is intended to be mounted. Well, you can mount it using the sleeve anchor or not using the sleeve anchor. That sleeve anchor is probably 3/8. The male portion will thread into the tapped hole down here. You'll drill that hole. It's probably a 1/2-inch hole. Don't quote me. Well, why not go ahead and quote me? But before you quote me, let me put my caliper on the unit. Yeah, I would drill. This is .486. I would drill a 1/2-inch hole. As you tighten that, spin that down, it's going to force this cone head to come up into the sleeve and expand the sleeve out. However, before you do all of that, any of that, you're going to need to get this all positioned and all of the holes marked so that when you rotate that on, you'll have it in position as to where you want it so that it lines up with the plastic anchor holes that are here. Now, these are an unusual plastic anchor in the sense that they have a flush head so that when you drill that hole, there's not a lipped head sitting on top of the surface so that it will prevent you from rotating that over the head of that. You'll have to tap those down flush. You'll have to mark all 4 of those holes. You have to drill all 4 of those holes to get that installed. So you'll either use the sleeve anchor and the 3, or you'll use the 3 alone. Depends on your application. If it's a wood floor, I wouldn't be sinking a sleeve anchor into it. If it's a concrete application, yeah, I'm probably going to use that sleeve anchor, and I'm going to also fill my 3 countersinks as well. This is made in different finishes, and let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at those finishes and the cut sheet. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. This is showing a generic finish, probably a satin nickel. Let's take a look at some images that we have uploaded. There is the box that the item comes out of, the item out of the box, removed from its packaging, a right side view, a view from the back side, a plan view, underside of the unit, the base, give you an up close look at those prepared holes, also trying to capture some of the finish as best as possible, and then your fastener package, specialty plastic anchor for this application. There's your rubber bumper. Okay. Now, extended description, solid brass, heavy duty, floor mounted, mounting hardware included. Cut sheet, let's take a look at the cut sheet. There's a technical drawing of the item. That's pretty nice. All of the dimensional properties beyond what we've discussed. There's also a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page. From here you can pull up not only all of the Deltana products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the product catalog. The product catalog is okay. It's a bit of an unwieldy document. You can see that it's a very large file and it takes some time to load. Every single time that I use or look to Deltana for a product, I don't ever use the product catalog. It's just too slow and cumbersome. Their website, though, is very good because you go to catalog and then you're presented with just these top-level categories. Okay? So pretty quickly, bumpers. wall bumpers, kick down, floor bumpers. Okay. DSF3225. So I like their view. It's pretty nice. They've got some newer designs here as well. The table of finishes that it is available in. And then their website also gives a list price. Let's go back to our site and let's... Oh, actually, no, we don't need to. They're here. Although by the time you're seeing this video, they'll be broken up into individual finishes. But US3 polished brass, lifetime brass, they call 003. That's like a Baldwin reference to a lifetime brass. US5 is antique brass. 10B is oil rub bronze, the item here. US15 satin nickel. US15A antique nickel. That could also be antique nickel, but it looks more satin. Painted black, US19. Polished chrome, US26. And 26D is a satin chrome finish. So this catalog view here is pretty straightforward. What we sell a lot of from Deltana will be their knife hinges. Their pH 35, 40, and 60. We sell these pretty often. Other common items from Deltana would be solid brass hinges. We sell those. Nice quality product, packaged very well. Very nice fit and finish. And there you go. Okay. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, a decent quality fit and finish on this otherwise pretty typical perhaps overkill for certain applications, but exactly what would be prescribed for the opening for many others. Nice quality doorstop. Admittedly, the finish is a bit dark, but it's clearly oil rubbed. There's no arguing that conclusion. But be mindful when you're looking at oil rubbed, what we would say US10B or 613 or 640. These are items that are inherently ever evolving, ever changing, not the same. There is no uniformity. They're called a living finish, and they're called living finish for a reason because they evolve with time. If you don't want a finish that is going to be so subject to the finished product being not open to interpretation, but varying in its degree of lightness to darkness in terms of the oil rub process, you might want to steer clear of oil rubbed. You can get doorstops like this in a powder-coated dark brown or bronze equivalent. We did, not too long ago, supply a local country club, golf course country club with a whole mess of hardware. And when I first went to the site, it was all oil rubbed. Literally, 613 finish, oil rub bronze, and they wanted to replace all the hardware. Why do you want to replace the hardware? Because a push plate is a push plate. There was no damage to it. It still worked. All of the locks, all of the door closers, they all looked like they functioned correctly. Testing the hardware, it all functioned, but it was worn. The finish was literally worn because it's oil rubbed. If you notice when you pull open a door on a restaurant that has an oil rubbed pull handle, the top and bottom are still oil rubbed. That center part will reveal the gold bronze tones coming through it. That's because that oil, and it's on my hands from this stop, the remnants of the process. They get on your hands. Well, it wears the finish off. Perfect example is that same door where you're going to have an oil rubbed door closer, oil rubbed hinges, oil rubbed floor stop, oil rubbed push and pull hardware. The hinges, the closer, and the stop are going to look like the day they were put in. But the hardware that you touch, that's going to wear off. So obviously, replacing all the hardware with the same thing that was going to wear out in time, we had a conversation. You can do what you just did. You know, you're going to be in this same position in a few years from now, or go with a powder-coated dark brown bronze equivalent. And it's called US10B oil rubbed equivalent. Powder coat is the process, an extremely durable process to finish material in, not only hardware but many other items, automotive parts. extremely durable. I've seen videos where someone has taken a hammer and cracked an item with a powder coat on it, and it doesn't break the paint off as a plating would be susceptible. So very durable. So be mindful to know exactly what you're getting into. There's no recourse when a client says, that's too dark. No, the definition that we deal with within our industry is one that says, this is it. And I can't tell you what it's going to exactly look like, so be prepared to accept that. And if that's not where you'd like to be, then choose another finish. I had someone who ordered a towel bar for a sliding shower enclosure. He says, you sent me black. And I'm thinking in my head, they don't even make black, but I know what the client means. They're too dark for what they want. There was no agreeable way to solve that problem. The client shipped the material back, and I don't know what they did. So anyway, get off my soapbox of oil rub bronze. Deltana is a super fine company, great people over there. They answer the phone. They want to do business. When it comes to inventory, they either have a ton of it in stock because it's imported, or they're out of stock for 12 weeks, but that does not happen very often. And I'll find the only time that that happens when they're out of stock is when someone's literally trying to buy 1,000 of these, with there being no sales history to justify them ever keeping 1,000 of them in stock. But very good quality people, nice fit and finish as well. Any questions on the DSF3225 and a 10B finish or any other Deltana product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.